Welcome, everybody, to episode 43 of The Safe State. I'm joined tonight by Zach from Nerd Cave Network. How's it going,
Let's
Zach?
go. I'm doing great, man. I'm excited to be here. It's been a little bit of a while since I've been on, and I'm excited to be back. Been moving,
Yeah.
which was, my God, I don't want to move for a very long time. I always say that I'm going to get movers, and then I'm like, I don't want to spend the money. And then afterwards, I'm like, I'm getting movers next time.
Right. Oh man, yes, yeah. Movers. There's been one time when I've been able to afford getting movers. That's because the company paid for it.
Mm,
Um, and it was really nice, but they did steal some things from me, which is
oh,
unfortunate. Yeah. So,
oh,
so there's
that's not
there's
good.
some pros and cons there. And of course, I didn't notice it until months later, as we were still sorting, like digging through
Yeah.
boxes. We're like, we can't find these certain items. Like, what happened to them? You know what? We haven't seen those since we moved. I think those guys took them.
Jeez.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Like I have like we literally had like a few boxes that were like the crown jewels. That's what I put like on our list. Is like crown jewels books, crown jewels like video games or like whatever. And it was just like, all right, as long as those get to the
Uh-huh.
house, like everything else, so like we can make it happen from there. But those have to
Yeah.
make
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. When we one time we moved and I desperately tried to convince my wife to just sell everything and
Hmm.
not move anything and just buy new things. Like we'll declutter real fast. We'll just sell
Yeah.
everything in the house, including all of our furniture. Just buy some new furniture and start from scratch at the new place. But she wouldn't go for it. So
Yeah, I feel like that's a hard one to sell, but
yeah.
I know like some military guys that will literally they'll sell everything and then the next
Hmm.
city they'll, get whatever they need from there, but you
Yeah.
know, there are some things where it's just like sentimental you want to keep, you
Sure.
know.
Yeah.
And I felt so good. I was just like, man, we really got rid of a lot of stuff. We got rid of a lot of clothes, a lot of junk, and all of this. And then we're here at this new house, and it's bigger than our last place. And we're busted at the seams already. And I'm like, I think we just need to call again. um,
Oh man. Yeah, I understand. I dread the day we move out of this house because this is the biggest place we've ever lived in, and we're bursting at the seams. And this place has a an unfinished basement that's basically storage, and things just keep
mm.
showing up down in there. And I'm like, this is gonna be bad. This is gonna be real bad one of these days.
See, that's what you need to turn that into the bow cave. The bow
I
cave.
wish. We've talked about it multiple times. The problem is that the ceiling is too low down there to really turn it into a usable space. But
Mm,
because I would love to set up like a space to have like a VR space next to like
yeah,
this kind of a setup here. But we just don't have the space for it. So,
I feel you.
but anyway, I'm glad you're here, man, because it has been a long time. And I know that we text some and try to keep up a little
Yeah.
bit. And I think I've been on your Thursday night show maybe once or twice since
Mm.
in the last few months. And I always enjoy hanging out with you and Derek so much. But it's good to have you back here on the Safe State for sure. I always enjoy
Yeah,
talking to you.
yeah, I'm excited about tonight.
Yeah, so we're gonna kick it off, man. Just talking about maybe a little bit what we've been playing. You've been moving, so maybe you haven't been playing anything. I don't know.
I've actually played more games recently than I had been. Just like Friday nights have become like a really nice like kind of reset for me.
Okay.
And like 8, 9 o'clock, like I'll play till like 12 or 1, which is late for me.
Hmm.
But I've been playing Death Stranding
Okay. Two or
and 1.
one. Okay.
And I like when it came out, I was like, this game, like
Hmm.
Kojima being Kojima, like this is weird, blah blah blah. And probably a month or so ago, I was just looking for something to play. Nothing was scratching the itch. I was looking all over the place. And I was like, I got it from, I was like, okay, I'll try it out. I'll just see what it is. And then I just started playing. And there's like, it's probably the most like, you can understand the story. There's still weird stuff out there,
Oh yeah.
story, but like just kind of basic stuff that is in there. It's like, okay, you're trying to reconnect people, which I think is a really good message. And it's just the simplicity of like what you're doing. You're just literally delivering packages. And then it gets into like the weird stuff with like these ghosts or whatever that are like you've got to be careful around, you can't breathe around them. It's just like all this like stuff, but it's just satisfying. You're just walking and delivering packages.
like the Pony Express of
Exactly. The Norman Reedus Express out there. I finally got like a truck where I can just like load it up with stuff and I'm just driving around in my little truck and everything. But yeah, I'm really digging that. I've been replaying Ghosts of Tsushima and prep for Yote, which will be not this Thursday, but next Thursday, which
yeah.
we're going to be doing a pretty much all day stream of me playing it, and then Derek and I are going to give our kind of like first impressions on the stream that night. But it's been nice going back to it. Like I remember a lot about it,
Mhm.
but that game's just so beautiful.
Do you think the gameplay holds up still? I mean, it's been
Oh
5
yeah,
years. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It still holds up. Like it's weird because like I'm literally playing both like two PS4 games that were like kind of like mega during that
Yeah.
time, and it's like now I'm playing them
Yeah.
like, but like both of them hold up really well, and the sword play and everything, like it just feels good.
Yeah.
Some of the traversal, which was kind of a gripe in the original, like having to like go around stuff instead of scaling down it, that sort of deal, is probably one of the weakest parts of the game, but it still holds up very, very well.
Yeah. Yeah. I would agree. It's been a couple of years since I dove into that game, but I can't imagine that it would have aged poorly at this point
Yeah.
anyway. It was just so well done. And I have played probably, oh man, I don't know, maybe about the first 4 hours maybe of Death Stranding, and it just wasn't clicking with me. Maybe I
Mm.
didn't give it long enough, but if it takes more than 4 hours for me to get into a game, I'm like, is it really worth it? Like,
Yeah.
if I have to play 10 hours to start having fun, I don't know if I want to play 10 hours, I
Like
just,
the very beginning, it was like, okay, I don't know if I'm gonna like this. But once I started like delivering packages, but I also liked Power Wash Simulator. So it's kind of like that weird like itch in the brain is
uh-huh.
like, you're
Yeah.
checking off the to-do list.
Yeah. And see, I have enough trouble checking off my real life to-do list. So that might be what it was. It's stressing me out, probably.
So what
Oh
have you been
man.
playing?
Oh, I actually have been super busy and haven't played as much as usual, but I did get um I got a couple of different review keys for some VR games. One is a pretty big title coming out this Thursday. It's called now that it's test anxiety. I can't remember the name of it. Titan Isles, I believe, is what it's called,
Mm,
and it's coming out on Quest and PC VR. And it is like it's sort of like you can play as a squad of 4, but it's called
mhm,
Titan Isles. You can play as a squad of 4, or you can play solo, but you get like a mech suit, and it's like this futuristic sci-fi game where there's the world is like a bunch of floating islands, and you have to each suit traverses different, so it changes your traversal and
mm,
your weapons. So it kind of has like not really an Overwatch is not the right comparison, but you have different abilities depending on which suit you pick.
yeah.
And And so that changes your traversal across these islands. But each island that you go to, it's cool because when you're playing through the campaign, you get to pick which route you want to take to get to the end, the boss at the end of the level. And so there's a lot of replayability there because there's like at least 3 or 4 routes every single level. So each route is different.
Mm,
And then you get to that end boss and you have to figure out you figure out their patterns and stuff and how to defeat them. And I've been really like pleasantly surprised with that and how well it's been done. I wish that the weapons felt heavier,
mm.
I don't know if they need to change the sound effects, but you ever play a game where it's like you're doing damage, but it just feels it doesn't have the
Feels,
impact that you want, you know? And then
yeah,
other
you're
games you
shooting
get
with a
that.
Nerf gun.
Yeah. That's the one thing I would change about this game, Titan Isles. Yeah, is the weapons. You don't feel powerful even though you're taking
Mm,
down these huge mechs. And I think it's the sound effects. They could probably up the vibration in the controller a little bit
mm.
too, maybe. But
Do you feel
yeah.
like with the like different lanes that you can take through the game, like each level, do you feel like that helps with the replayability? Because I know a lot of
Mhm.
times with like VR, it's like you experience it and that's it.
Yeah, I do feel that way, because each route is different, and you're gonna have enemies in different locations, and they try to um, sometimes they try to sneak up on you or come up behind you or whatever. But so it's just different. It just yeah, I definitely think it adds to the replayability. And I haven't played it with anyone yet because this is like a pre-release copy that I got, so there's not anybody to play with yet. But some of the bosses, I can see how having a squad would be
Mm,
very beneficial because it'll be like they have like different armored spots you have to take out all around them, and maybe at the end you have to get behind them to do
mm.
damage. And it's like, well, they're coming at me, so it's really hard to get behind them, to do the damage. So I can see it being a really cool squad based game.
It reminds
Um,
me of I don't know if you know this show, but it was called The Centurions, and it was like a 80s like TV
mm-mm.
show where like each person had like different armor or whatever they could like beam down, and they like depending on the situation, like the suits you were talking about
Yeah,
reminded me of the Centurions, you know.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty cool game. So I'm excited about that one. I'm going to do a little review on that one. Hopefully, I'd like to get it done this week, but I don't know if I'm going to have time to. I'm trying though. Uh, and then the other game, VR game, also is called Of Lies and Rain,
Mm,
which is an intriguing title. And it is very much. I know you're not necessarily in the VR world, Zach, but
yeah.
I'm sure you have seen or at least heard of Half-Life Alyx,
Oh yeah.
which is a big Steam game that they made for VR a few years ago. It draws very heavy Half-Life Alyx vibes. Even some of the mechanics are very much like Half-Life Alyx, and it's set in this. You wake up,
Mm,
um, and you don't remember who you are. You have amnesia. You don't remember who you are or why you're where you are or anything. And you're by yourself. And there's been this like crash, like this train
mm.
crash, and everybody else is dead. So,
Okay.
but somebody starts talking in your ear, and you have this earpiece in your ear, and it's this person that you work with, and they're trying to guide you back. And it's this whole futuristic sci-fi thing where they're trying to, some alien force is trying to wipe out humanity,
Mm,
and you're like, you have these special abilities, and you're like the only one that can stop them. And then so there's this underground resistance that's trying to fight back, but they need you. It has some very it's harder for me to recommend if you have little kids that are going to have your VR headset, because it's very mature rated. It's very
mm.
graphic, and at times you find some very disturbing scenes, which is very different in VR than it is on flat. Like
Yeah.
it's in my opinion not good for kids on
Yeah.
flat screen, but when you're in VR and it looks like you're there, it's a whole different ball game. Titan Isles, on the other hand, is it's probably rated teen for violence, but it's like an E10 game to me. There's
Yeah.
no like offensive content or of any kind in there. Um, it's just kind of fun, and you're flying around and shooting some robots and stuff with your lasers or whatever, but this is a lot more graphic of Lies and Rain, and but it's also well done. Again, a pre-build, so there's been some bugs I've encountered that need to be worked out, but for the most part it's been a really cool game, just definitely for adults and not for kids.
Yeah, I'm looking at the trailer and it definitely looks and feels like Half-Life Alex, and then it
Hmm.
gets into kind of like the techno
Hmm.
kind of,
Oh, those
that
levels are really cool. It's like you're in Tron.
yeah, that's what it feels like. And I'm like, all right, interesting. But I think the coolest part, even of the like video, like there's these spikes going ahead of you and you're using them to like climb. I'm like, that sold me right there. I don't know. It
Yeah.
was like the simple game mechanic. I'm like, yeah, I'm down for that.
Yeah, it's a cool game. It's a cool game. They both are being done by like small teams,
Mm.
but they've both really, you can tell the passion that's been poured into it. Like they're being really well done. So good kudos to both of those developers because they're doing a good job. So I'll have reviews on both of those games here coming up in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Oh, that'll be exciting, man.
Yeah.
It seems like indies are just crushing it right now.
Bro, that's one of the things that I thought we might talk about tonight, actually,
Yeah.
is that these indie developers, and I decided to axe that part, but since you brought it up real quick, these indie developers just, man, they are showing the AAA companies what's up,
Yeah, it really feels, and I loved how everyone got ticked off at Team Cherry over like Silk Song's price and everything. I
Hmm.
understand where the indie developers were coming from on the price side of stuff, but the AAA developers that were like, oh, just kind of dogging it and like they were mad at it. It's like this is a 3-person team,
Yeah.
and it's like if they see it as $20 and they've worked 7-8 years on this,
Hmm.
then who's to say that they should charge more? They made
You
that
know,
decision.
I wish I could have them on the show and talk to
Yeah.
them about why they made that decision, because I bet they thought they were doing the right thing. Like I bet they
Hmm.
didn't even think about that side of it. They thought they were doing the right thing by the customers, probably
Yeah.
not putting a $30 or $40 price tag on it. And I mean, the original was $14.99, right? So they
Hmm.
they upped it, $5, and I
Yeah.
wonder if they even debated about doing that. But then they get all this flack from all of the other people in the industry. I just, it kind of makes me sad, but because I don't think they did that to tick anybody off or.
No, no. And I liked that it was more consumer oriented with the decision compared to, we have seen more, cheaper games. Mafia the Old Country was like $40. Like we've seen a few games that have come out over the last year or so that are cheaper, but
Yeah,
then we see Nintendo charging $80, everybody going
yeah,
$70, and then the talk around GTA, and then they come out with this amazing game, literally crash every store because everybody wanted to play it on release day,
yeah,
and only charging 20. And it really showed who cares about video games as an art form and for the player compared to the shareholders.
yeah, yeah. I think it was a bad look for some of these other companies, the way they reacted. To be honest,
Yeah. Yeah. It,
yeah,
it makes me like we already knew that a lot of these places, because of the layoffs and everything, weren't great, but it's like you look at them and it's like, you would sell your mother for $1 if you could, you know.
or 60 or 70 or $80 is probably
Yeah,
what they
yeah.
actually charge. Yeah,
A nice DLC pack.
120 bucks. We get 3 days early, and you end the first round of DLC.
Yeah. Yeah, but it'll be buggy. It'll
But
be
it'll be
real
buggy, and you might lose your
buggy.
save file on launch day.
But like I think about, of course, like you had Blueprints as well that came
Mm-hmm.
out this year, and like
So good
such an amazing game, and it's
and
like you,
different. Like it's
yeah,
unique. It's creative. Like, gosh, give us some of that. Give us some more of that.
yeah, yeah. It just feels like we get regurgitation, and I'm not talking about sequels. I'm talking about the same feeling game over and over and over again, and I talked about it on Nerd Cave News 2 weeks ago, where Nintendo was like, "Yeah, we don't really have to develop new IPs. We just really focus on what kind of gameplay that we're wanting to do, like the concept, and then we put the skin around it, the story and everything." That's how
Mm,
they think about gaming now. And
mm,
I'm like, that's interesting, but at least you're trying new things with the
yeah,
gameplay side of things, but you're pretty
right.
much getting the same story every time.
Yeah, well, yeah, they've never really been super heavy on lore and story. I mean, the closest thing you get to that is like a Paper Mario game, right?
Yeah.
where it's maybe a little deeper or has more character detail, but that is interesting. I had not seen that, but they also have. Yeah, how many IP do they have? They've got a lot, and a lot of them they don't use. I just wish they would use more of them. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
like give us another Ice Climbers game or something. You know, like just surprise us. It doesn't have to be Mario, Donkey Kong, and Zelda all the time. You know, I'm glad
Yeah.
we're finally getting Metroid this year,
Yeah.
but I want a new Star Fox game so bad,
I
a good one, so bad.
yeah. Yeah. Well, the last one wasn't that great, but it's like, is it time for Star Fox? I feel like Metroid is kind of like testing the waters in some of that. It's like, are we ready for some more sci-fi futuristic kind of stuff? You know?
I am.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you play by any chance that Battle for Atlas game from Ubisoft last
Mm,
gen? Because
nah.
the Switch version had Star Fox in it. Do you remember that coming out?
Okay. I vaguely recall that.
Yeah, you could play through the whole game as Star Fox in an R Wing, but it was only on Switch that you could do that. And
Huh.
they had bonus cutscenes in the Switch version with Star Fox and his pals, and
Mm,
they had come into this uh, solar system, Atlas, chasing Star Wolf or Space Wolf. I can't remember what his name is at the moment, but his arch nemesis, Star Wolf. And so there were scenes with the villain and with Star Fox in the in that version. And it was basically to me like a Star Fox game. It's the best
yeah.
Star Fox game we've gotten since Star Fox 64. But it wasn't a Star Fox game. It was a totally different IP, which will never get a sequel because it didn't sell very well.
Mm. Well, and going back to like the indie side of things, like I don't know if you played the altars at all.
No.
It was kind of like the way I quickly explain it is it's Animal Crossing with clones in space with a countdown clock
Oh,
to doomsday.
that paints a picture, doesn't it?
Yeah. So like it's a an indie game, but man, I really enjoyed playing it. But it
Yeah,
was something different. It wasn't like your go to same stuff, same thing every time. And I don't
right.
know, I love what the indies are doing, and I can't wait to see how that is going to affect the overall gaming sphere when you can. And I hope it doesn't affect it negatively. I'm curious your thoughts that, oh, well, they developed this with 3 people. Why can't we develop something that good with a smaller team? Do you think that could be some of the shareholders' reasonings coming up in the next, 6 to 12 months?
I think that should be a question people ask, especially shareholders to these companies who are spending sometimes hundreds of millions of
Mhm.
dollars over the course of 5, 6, 7 years with nothing to show for it. And the Concord is a great example of that.
Perfect Dark.
Perfect Dark is a great example of that. I'm still sad about that. They had a
Yeah.
chance.
Yep.
2K wanted, was it 2K or Take
It
Two?
was
Take
Take
Two
Two.
wanted to
Yep.
wanted to buy that and finish it, and they said no.
Yeah, they didn't
Like,
want to lose the
come
IP, and I'm
on,
like,
you're not doing anything with it. Who
yeah,
cares?
yeah, you're gonna wait for 30 years for all the people that played Perfect Dark to be,
To have arthritis because we played
yeah.
too many video games and can't play a new one, and then you're gonna release it. I mean, come on, just like give me that game. I'm still mad. Don't get me started about. We have to change the subject.
Back to indies.
Yeah. Ah, it's the only game I wanted this whole generation, Zach. Was Perfect Dark, and they had to
Well,
take it from me.
when that got announced that it was like getting scrapped the first time, and then when it was like, oh, they almost saved it, I'm like, Bo is like probably just like screaming disappointed.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I might have raised a fist in the air. I don't know. That's so frustrating. And that trailer we got was a playable demo. Like, it was playable. They
Yeah,
were playing it. It wasn't just a vertical slice. It was something in the works. And that just really frustrates me because there were so many things in that story that I was ready, man. I was so ready. I was like predicting what was going to happen at the end in my mind already, just based on that trailer. And what I know from the original. But okay, what were we talking about? Just indies?
we were talking about indies,
Oh, they
and
should ask questions about why does it take so long to develop these games and cost so much, because especially now that all of these big companies are saying, "Hey, we're moving to AI. It's going to help us do things faster." Well, and on budget. Well, if you don't start producing some results, what are you doing? What are your employees
yeah,
doing all day that we don't have any games out making money selling? I I
yeah.
I don't. I think they should be asking that. And
I think it's
it's
a two
amazing
edged.
what these guys were doing. These three guys did. I know it took them 7 or 8 years,
Yeah,
but you know, Hollow Knight sold how many? 13 million copies, something like that.
yeah, something like that.
Um, 13 million times, I don't know what their cut was, $10 a copy, maybe less when it was on sale. That adds that's enough to keep
15 million.
three guys three guys employed, for while they're making their sequel.
Yeah.
And
And this was still selling. Yeah, they sold 15 million copies across all platforms.
yeah.
Like I think my question was more of we've seen since 2023 tons of layoffs.
Yeah.
Do you think that this is going to be a sword for people that don't know how games are actually made? They just see it as a cash cow, as a
Mm.
way to try to cut down the fat, make us more agile, that kind of thing. Because I feel like I agree with you. Like, we should be asking questions. Why is it taking so long? Are we, utilizing our time? Are our staff bloated? Are we tracking time? Like, at my job, I have to track time. I have to, be responsible for what I do at work and everything. And I know that gaming takes a long time to develop, especially
Sure.
when it is these mega, God of War Ragnarok. I still
Yeah.
felt like that was a really quick turnaround from, you know, God of War to God of War Ragnarok. I was pretty happy with that. And even Ghost of Tsushima to Yote, I feel like is a pretty decent turnaround for
Sure.
that level of a game. But
Yeah,
you
and they
look at,
had a sizable DLC that they produced after
yeah,
the game was out, and did the PS5 upgrades on it, enhancements on it. So
mhm,
I am totally tracking with you. Yeah.
yeah. I feel like they're going to complain that Team Cherry and these indies are doing this, and then they're going to turn around and also bludgeon the developers that are in their studios as well.
Well, I mean, yeah, you've got that, and then you've got Clear Obscure that came out earlier this
Yep.
year. That's just a 34-person team.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they made that game in 4 years, and look how that turned out, and how
Yep.
much people loved it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, I know we were gonna briefly mention some Game of the Year nominees, or where we thought we were at with that, and for me, that's it right now. That is Game of the Year right now for me.
Really?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
I thought it came together so well, from the music to the graphics, and the story, and the acting, and the acting was so good. It's just so much emotion on the faces of the individual, and man, the music just backed that up so beautifully. And then the gameplay was super tight and really good. Thoroughly enjoyed it. But they did that with so much less,
Yeah.
and did such a better job, you know. And so I do think they had that some of these shareholders who don't understand some things, do have some ammunition, or should it, if they're paying attention, they at least have some questions. And I don't think that they're invalid questions,
Yeah.
but you know, we never want to see anybody use it as a weapon
Mm-hmm.
to beat up on people, of
Yeah.
course. Um, and we don't want to see any more layoffs. We just want to see these companies produce games. And it's been a weird generation, because we've seen Xbox and PlayStation both buy up a bunch of studios and make all these promises, and really not do a very good job delivering on those things. And it's a weird thing. It seems like they've, I don't know, it seems like they've just been wasting people's money and
Yeah.
time, instead of, and I go back to, we don't need we don't need we need smaller titles. We need AA games. We
Yes.
need, remember, like, what was Ubisoft used to have this other division? I'm
It
blanking.
was like the art
Yuba
Ubisoft.
Arts or something.
Yeah, UB Arts.
They made a Child of Light. Remember that
Mm-hmm.
game? Did you play that
Yep.
game? Man, that was such a good game. With
Valiant Hearts.
yeah, Valiant Hearts, hand drawn art style. Like, it didn't need a huge team, you know. Why aren't we putting more stuff out like that? And that wasn't a indie game, because it was from
Mm-hmm.
Ubisoft, but it felt like an indie game, and the turnaround was a lot quicker, but it was still high quality. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like these companies need to be doing stuff like that, and they're not anymore. It's just all about, let's get out the next huge game, and by the way, let's make sure we tack on some live service mechanics so that we can continue to milk money out of people to the end of
Yeah.
time.
How can we monetize this? That's what it feels like. And you look at Sony, with Jim Ryan, 60% of development under his tenure was put towards live service gaming.
Yeah.
Fair Games, Concord, Marathon, all of these
Yeah.
things, Last of Us multiplayer.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at that, and most of those have got canceled, or they're still under development.
Do you think we'll see Fair Games?
I don't think so. After the two of the founders have left the studio, which one of them was the game director, it's like, yeah, this thing is on life support. You need to pull the plug and put them towards something else. I hope that they don't fold the studio.
Yeah.
And if they do, then they need to put them like inside of something else within Sony. But I don't want them to fold it. But you look at the big successes this year, the really like the conversation is first player games, not first player, but like story based games. Like
Yeah.
it is crazy because
single player games.
Yeah, single player games. There we go. You got that word for me. You look at it and it's like, I remember 5-6 years ago, the conversation was, is single player games dying? because
Oh
of
yeah.
how successful Fortnite, Apex, Modern Warzone, and all of this. And there was the huge conversation: is are we going to lose single player games? And then you look at this year,
Hmm.
and Silk Song, Blueprints, all of these games are just crushing it. Claire,
Expedition 33.
yeah,
Yeah. All single player games, crushing
all
it.
single player
And indie games,
and indie
crushing it.
games, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. That was the conversation. And I think a lot of sometimes these companies, I feel like they are 1 or 2 years behind the curve, with what the
Yep,
trend is. And I feel that way right now. And that was the conversation. And look, there's a reason why we have this cliche saying that variety is the spice of life. And that's because even gamers don't want every game to feel and look the same.
yeah,
We want variety. I want a game when I get done playing a game, I want a completely different game to play after it because it cleanses the palate and it gives
yep,
me something different to do. I
yeah,
don't want this. I don't want to jump from game A to game B and feel like I'm playing the same game just with a different skin. I
yeah.
don't.
Yeah, it just becomes mush at that. And like if you're trying on cologne, you're looking at different cologne scents and everything. You got the testers. You sniff the coffee beans in between them, so your olfactory senses
Yeah.
reset to
Yeah.
a normal level. And that's what we need to be doing with video games. It all
Yeah.
can't be just the same slop that that they're wanting to shovel into our gullets. It's just not it's
Yeah.
not the case.
I completely agree. I completely agree. And yet they keep trying to do that.
Yeah, they do. But
And
dude, I feel like this year's game of the year is so heavily contested. It,
mhm,
Hollow Knight, we've got
sure.
Expedition 33,
Mhm.
which I feel like those are going to be the two indies that are on the list.
Everybody's still talking about those two. I think Blueprints is worth still talking about as
I
well.
do. I'm talking more like
But
I feel like is there like 5 or 6 that are on
yeah,
the game
it's
awards?
usually six. It's been six the last couple of years. It used to be just five, but I think they've bumped it up to six to add that indie game in there.
Yeah. So I feel like both of them are on there. I don't think people are still talking as much about blueprints as they
They're
were.
not. They're not.
And then you look at that, it's like, okay, is Hades 2 going to make the list? Because
Ooh,
it's just, is about to hit, real release, not early access and everything. And
yeah,
I'm like, I
man.
don't hear people excited about it as much as Hades 1.
Yeah, but they haven't played it yet.
I know,
I
but
feel
I
like
feel
when they had it at the Nintendo Direct last week, was that last week or the week before?
2
I
weeks
feel
ago.
I feel like people got pretty excited about it,
Yeah.
in that 24-hour news cycle following that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's like, okay, can Hades 2, that's only going to be Switch console exclusive,
mm,
knock off Silk Song or Expedition 33 out of the indie side of things?
I don't know.
I
I don't
don't
know.
feel like it. I don't feel like it can.
Well, you know what you're describing though? You're describing a year that might have a much more exciting indie game of the year category than game of the year category.
True. True. I feel like that is going to be the more contentious
Yeah,
category than
yeah,
game of the year.
yeah, absolutely.
And then
Oh man.
like I'm thinking, I'm looking at it and it's like Death Stranding 2. We get
Hmm.
kind of two sequels this year from kind of the PlayStation side, Death Stranding 2 and then Ghosts of Yote.
Hmm.
And I feel like either one of them can be on the list. I have my personal bias. I am, a Ghost stand. But I feel like it's going to fall into the trap that Spider-Man 2 fell into 2 years ago,
Yeah.
where Elden Ring wiped the floor with it. And I don't think it's going to get the flowers because I think people are, and we'll get into this when we talk about sequels. It's more of the same. That's
Yeah.
how people talk about sequels most of the time these days.
Right. Right. That's true.
And then you got
Now,
Bonanza.
I know, man. Doesn't that throw a monkey wrench into things?
Where's it at?
Oh man, yeah, Bonanza's really good, man. It's really good,
I
and
played just the demo and I was like, I'm sold. This is Donkey Kong, like Lego destructibleness. This is
yes,
awesome.
it's really fun, and it's fun for me, and it's fun for my 8-year-old, and like we're both having equal amounts fun, you know. So I think it definitely comes down. It comes back with family game of the year for
Mhm.
sure. Probably. I mean, it might Mario Kart World maybe is in that
Yeah.
category too. Um, People are not talking about Mario Kart World anymore though at this point, other than its price tag, um,
Yeah.
which is unfortunate because it is a good Mario Kart game. But Bonanza is so fun. I really can't say enough good things about it. Uh, but it has like I don't know if you ever played Luigi's Mansion 3, but everybody always talks
Mhm.
about how Luigi's facial animations it's so animated and it's
Yeah.
part of the charm of that game. It's the same way with Donkey Kong. And if you played that
Mm,
demo, man,
yep.
in the first like 15 seconds, he sees that first banana and his like
It's like,
heart eyes shows up and
yeah,
the emotion on his face. That's what I fell in love with the game right then. I was like,
it
this is gonna be so good.
it felt very Looney Tunes, like how like overly expressive,
It's
which I
overly
love.
expressive. Yeah, it's great. It's so
Yeah.
good.
So
It's
I
so
like
good.
even just the demo, I was like, okay, I can see why people have went bananas
Yeah.
for this game. And like in the DLC that just came out, I don't think it's worth $20,
No, I
for
don't
what it
either.
is. But at least they're supporting the game, unlike my favorite Nintendo game of all time, which is Mario Odyssey. We should have got some sort of DLC
Yeah.
from that game.
Yeah.
But neither here nor there. So that brings us up to Clair Obscura.
That ship has sailed, but
Oh, um, so we got Clair Obscura, we've got Hollow Knight, we've got Donkey Kong,
mhm.
and then
For
Death
game of the
Stranding.
year, I think
Yeah,
Death Stranding 2 is definitely gonna be a part of that
yeah.
conversation, probably a nominee.
Do you think
Um,
Yote is on that list? We haven't got it yet.
we haven't got it yet, so I don't know. I think it's gonna depend. I think that 2 other things we have gotten that could be on there is one is Indiana Jones, which was after last year's.
Yeah.
I think that game was good enough to be considered. I don't know if people will remember it enough, although we did just
Mhm.
get DLC for it. So maybe. Uh,
I just feel like
Typically
it's
December
too
games
long.
typically are forgotten though.
Yeah. Because even like you look at Jedi Survivor,
Survivor, yeah.
and it came out afterwards, but it didn't even get an even week.
No, Jedi
Um,
Survivor came out in the spring.
was it? It
It
might
came
have
out
been
in April, I think.
Fallen Order. One of them came out like,
Might have been Fallen Order. Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
but yeah, like I enjoyed my time with Indiana Jones. I need to go back and finish it because I'm almost at the end. And with the
Mhm.
DLC, I'm excited for that because, dude, that game looks gorgeous.
It's so
It
good. Yeah.
runs so well. And Troy
Mhm.
Baker, oh my God.
Harrison Ford, man. He is
Yeah.
Harrison Ford. It is
Yeah.
so good. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. It's just like, all right. Like, I feel like this is a franchise that has needed life in it because the movies
And
have done it such a disservice.
yeah, it's the best Indiana Jones movie we've gotten since Last Crusade.
Yeah.
Um, and it could be the start of a franchise, I think. And the gameplay also again was something different. It was first
Mhm.
person, but it wasn't a shooter.
Yep.
It was something fresh, and I really enjoyed that game a lot. And I need to go back and finish it too. Um, yeah, so that's something that I personally would throw in there. I
Mhm.
think the Dark Ages, I think could also maybe be something you throw in that conversation. I don't know if it'll be nominated, but
Yeah. I personally love Doom the Dark Ages. I don't feel like it is in that feel of what a game of the year contender is on
Yeah.
Jeff Keighley's side of things, but I've enjoyed every second that I've played, either on the console, on my Steam Deck. Like, that game is so much fun and just really, really well paced compared to other games that have come out this year. I'm just like, that's how you pace a game. That's how you keep it interesting.
Mm,
Because man, there's some games like South of Midnight. That
yeah.
game is paced so poorly.
Yeah.
The story is
Hmm.
really interesting, but the combat is awful. But the only
Yeah.
one that else that I can think of is like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, because it came out earlier in the year.
People did
And
really like that one. Yeah.
yeah, and it plays really well. It's like it just kind of fixed everything the first one didn't have. And
Sure.
it, I don't know. It's like, is it too early? Like, where are we going to kind of fill in the gaps here? You know, is Gears of War Reloaded going? I'm just kidding.
Well, how did Monster Hunter Wilds do? Did people like that game? I can't remember. I don't remember hearing people talk
it
about it after it came out. We just saw it a million times
oh
before it came
yeah,
out.
people weren't like they weren't crazy about it like Monster Hunter Worlds. It was the logical progression of what the series was. It also kind of streamlined it a little bit compared to Worlds, and you either love that or you hated it.
Okay.
And that's kind of, it's more kind of divisive than it is, you know, people are excited about it.
I'll tell you another indie one is Split Fiction.
Oh yeah, Split Fiction. Yep.
Yeah. Seriously, the indie game of the year is going to be the more exciting category. Might be the harder one to narrow down to 5, actually, you know?
Yeah. I I
I'm
don't
here
even I
I'm
don't even
hearing
know.
I'm hearing good things. I don't remember if it came out today or yesterday or last week, last Friday or whatever, but the Trails of, what is it called? Trails in the Sky. I'm hearing really good things about that. I've seen several YouTubers post stuff about that. Trails in the Sky, first
Oh yeah.
chapter, or first, I don't remember.
I watched Snowbike Mike over on Kind of Funny Play It, and I don't think that's gonna make it.
Okay, I just thought it seemed to be like people were talking about it, like it was good. It was a good remake.
Yeah, like if you like the JRPG kind of thing, I feel
Yeah.
like you will enjoy it. But I just don't. From what I saw from that stream, I was like, I don't think it's gonna make it.
Okay,
Um, but yeah, I feel
that's
like,
fair.
are we gonna get 6? Are we gonna get, Peak is another one, another indie that could possibly be in that, because dude, it sold like crazy.
Peak.
Yeah, it's like a multiplayer game where you're like climbing, like with a bunch of friends, and it sold
Okay.
amazing over on Steam.
Hmm.
So
I haven't even heard of that one.
yeah,
Man.
yeah.
Hmm.
Peak is essentially the following the plot of Lost. You actually on an ever-changing island full of mysteries that things that are out there get you. You and other scouts will have to climb steep cliff faces, interact with mysterious artifacts, and of course, deal with each other's antics as you make your way to the top. It's a challenging journey full of laughter as you and your friends scream your way to the top or all the way back down to the bottom.
Yeah. Hmm.
Oh, Night Rain. Elden Ring Night Rain is another one that could
Yeah.
possibly make it
Yeah.
onto the list.
I don't like it when they do DLC for Game of the Year.
I don't either, because Erdtree beat
I
out.
just have a DLC of the year. Like that can be its own category.
Yeah,
That's I would prefer they do that.
yeah, I agree, because Erdtree beat out Spider-Man 2. I
Yeah.
was just like, nope, not in my house.
Yeah.
Not in my house.
Spider-Man 2 is really good, you
It
know.
was.
It
It
was
was.
fun.
Was it game of the year? Probably not. I'm gonna be honest. Looking back at it now, it was great. It improved
Sure.
on a lot of the things from
Yep.
one and Miles Morales, but was it game of the year? I can look back honestly and probably say no, probably not.
Yeah. See, I would say I enjoyed Spider-Man 2 as just as much as I did Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Like they were, I loved both of
Mm,
them so much. And they're very different games.
yeah,
I don't know that either one of them should have been game of the year. And
yeah.
if I had to pick between them, if it came down to those two, I don't know which one I would pick. But uh, anyway,
So you're saying Claire Obscure is going to win. That's your
well,
pick.
I'm saying that's my pick. I don't know if it's going to win. I'm just saying
Yeah,
that so far this year, that is the best game that I have played all around.
yeah.
Best game, and I'm talking about graphics, sound design, story, um, uh, gameplay, and music. All these different elements combined. I
Mhm.
think it's the best all around package, in my opinion.
I've played Expedition 33. I haven't rolled credits on it, and I've played very little of Silk Song. I'm just not good at that game.
It's hard.
It's hard.
Yeah.
I'm just not a Metroidvania, and it's just not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
Um, there's I want Ghost to just be exceptional and like just crush everything.
We'll
But I
see.
don't feel like that. I do feel like Clear Obscure. I agree with you on that. I feel like it has everything that you would say this is a game of the year. This is like, and it like all of these games are going to be like talked about 10 years from now. Like we talk about 2011 games, like, you know, Batman Arkham City and all of these like amazing games that we talk about now. Like,
Mhm.
oh my God, these were amazing. This year
Yeah.
is that again.
Yeah. It's just weird that so many of them are indies.
Yeah. Which I love. And it's just like, hey, do
this
better. Triple A.
These aren't indies, but we had that new Ninja Gaiden game, the new Prince
Mm,
of Persia game, and the new Shinobi
yep.
game, and all three of those are really good games. They're all three side scrollers, but they're all three really good. um, from bigger pub, and this is what we need more of. I'm going back to earlier. We need more of this because these are from, bigger. These are bigger IPs, but they said, hey, we're going to make a smaller game
Hmm.
out of our bigger IP. And Shinobi hasn't been around for a long time,
Yeah.
um, but I would say it's one of Sega's stronger IPs is Shinobi. So I'm just going to go with it. But and that's probably the best one out of those three I just mentioned. Honestly, is the Shinobi. I haven't purchased it yet, but I did play the demo and it was really really good.
One
So
that I haven't played, but it just came out was Silent Hill F.
yeah,
And I know a lot of people are excited about it. I know Kind of Funny rated it pretty high. IGN gave it a 7. I just don't know if it will.
IGN's favorite number is 7, I think.
Yeah, it's just like throw it in ChatGPT. I don't know. I'm not going to make fun of them. Um,
Uh,
but
yeah,
you know
moving on. Moving
that
on.
might be an issue. But yeah, a lot of good games, and hopefully the sequels will get a little bit fairer treatment in the game of the year conversation, because I don't feel like I heard a lot of people talk about Death Stranding 2.
I'm surprised there haven't been more people talking about it. Do you think the people that are playing it are just so immersed in it that they're not they're not sure they're not they haven't had time to process what's happening to report on it or say anything about it, or
I
they're too
don't
busy
know.
playing it, or I don't know.
I feel like the games media side of things, you have to really like FOMO is an issue, but you have to kind of keep up with the beast. You
Yeah.
know, you don't really get to stay in the worlds like a normal person gets to enjoy a game or whatever. And Kojima makes these very complex big worlds, and
Yeah.
Death Stranding, you're kind of stranded in that world.
Yeah.
And
There you go.
you're you know, having to experience a lot of it. So I don't know. I feel like people played it and they were like, okay, this is really good. And then I haven't heard anything.
That's exactly how I feel. That's exactly how I feel. Is that people say this is really good, and then nobody said anything else after that.
And
uh,
I just like when I look at that, it's like, what are the conversations? Are people still buzzing about it? Because when I look back when Elden Ring won its year, it got released, Baldur's Gate,
mhm.
Astrobot, everybody was talking about it. Like they couldn't stop talking about the game. And that's what I feel like with Clair Obscura. Hollow Knight right now is going through it
Yeah,
and everything. And it's like, okay, those are kind of the front runners in my mind.
yeah. I mean, honestly, when have when have you ever even seen this before? When an indie game comes out, and a month later, people are still talking about how great it is.
Yeah.
I mean, how often does that happen? It's not very often.
Yeah.
And with Clair
Dawn.
Obscur, I'm still seeing people tweet about Clair Obscur. I'm still seeing new videos pop up from this week on YouTube about Clair Obscur.
Yeah.
It's
I
there's people are still talking about it.
like on TikTok, I will still see people's like combat, like of them fighting something or people
Mhm.
live streaming it. So
Or like here's their build, with the
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah. They found something there. Now, I don't know, that just clicked with people. And I think again it was all those elements. They did all of them so well. It just melded
mhm.
together into this masterpiece.
It was like a
Um,
roux, you know.
no, I don't know what that means.
Okay, a roux is like a. Let me look it up so I explain it exactly. If I can spell it right. It's essentially like it's like a sauce, but you gotta like let it simmer. You gotta let it like kind of boil down and let all the different flavors and things like the French people came up with it. That's why I
Okay,
said a
okay.
roux. Yeah,
It's not a acronym for random user experience or something like
no,
that.
no. So let's talk about sequels. I know that was one of the things that we wanted to talk about tonight as well.
Oh man, yeah. I haven't talked about anything I wanted to talk about.
We talked about
uh,
game of the year.
well, that was supposed to be 5 minutes.
You didn't tell me 5 minutes.
Well, hey, listen, I'll tell you something else that came out was Borderlands 4, and I don't think that's gone super well
Yeah,
for them. Um, yeah,
especially like Randy Pitchford is like making it way worse than it should be.
yeah.
This is like when you're combative against your audience, that's never a good look.
Listen, every company needs to remember that
Yeah,
because it feels like it just keeps happening over and over again.
yeah,
These companies putting down their audiences, their biggest fans for
yeah.
one reason or another, and then wondering why their game doesn't sell well.
Yep.
I don't understand. I don't understand it.
Yeah, when your
Ah,
response is build your own game engine and your own game and then come and talk to me. It's like, dude, you built this on
uh,
Unreal Engine 5. You didn't even build the engine.
oh my goodness. Oh, wow. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. People waited a long time for that game, and it wasn't. Unfortunately, it wasn't a Rue. Did I use that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Like I think it got like a 7. It got a 7.5 over on Kind of Funny. Um and it was like they toned down a lot of the silly humor from 3. They made it a little bit more serious, which I think they went kind of on the extreme on 3. So that's about as far as I know anything on it. And Claptrap is less annoying.
Mm. Well, less annoying characters are always a plus. That's for
Yeah.
sure. Hmm. Okay. Well, I don't know anything else about Borderlands 4 than you do, any more than you do. So sequels, why is it so hard to make a sequel, Zach? I mean, we see this over and over again. This, even with Spider-Man 2, which we both agree is a great game, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of people that were just like, well, it's just more of the same Spider-Man. A lot of people felt that way. And I thought they tried to really, they came up with some new traversal mechanics,
Mm-hmm.
some new fighting moves and new ways of taking down enemies, and the stuff you could do in conjunction with, if you're Peter, you could, Miles would come in, you could do some combo moves
Yep.
with him and stuff. I thought that was really cool, and they kind of elevated they made the map bigger, of course, but it never felt like to me um, it was it was too much of a chore to get from one place to another. Like the traversal was fun enough and there was stuff to
Yep.
do along the way that the city was alive, like it felt like you always ran across some kind of crime being committed or something
Mm-hmm.
else, something to find, something to pick up, some kind of collectible, going from point A to point B, to where it was never that annoying to traverse, but still, it didn't really enter that game of the year conversation. As good as it was, as good as it looked. Um, what's so hard about making a sequel?
I think in this day and age, it is everybody wants something brand new. They want the first hit, if you will, the first high.
Okay.
And especially for these larger games, everyone is hyped about it. Everyone is excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
And they tend to overshow what the game is.
Mm.
And people are expecting, oh man, one was that good. Two has got to be like this extreme jump. And it's like, you already have like a game that's like a 9, like thinking of like God of War
Yeah.
2018 going to God of War Ragnarok. It's like you already have this masterpiece, and people are like, oh, well, it's more of the same. I'm like, did you play the same game that I did? Because there are games out there that are, oh, it's more of the same. Call of Duty, Dynasty Warriors, like, my God, like they're the same thing, just more meat into the grinder. Like, you know what I mean? We're just getting
Yeah.
ground beef. But then you look at, oh, well, Silk Song, I praised Silk Song earlier for all that it's done right. But people are like, oh, Silk Song's so amazing. And it's like, yeah, it is. And the gameplay slightly different. But I can also say it's more of the same. You know what I
So,
mean?
so can we stop right there and kind of dissect that a bit? How much how much difference does it make the amount of time that's between game one and game two? Because Silk Song is that example of, you had 7 or 8 years in between these games. Um, Spider-Man was what, 5?
2016 to when
Oh,
was
it was more
Spider-Man
than
2?
I thought. It was more than I thought. Um, do you think that plays a role in this? Like the
Sorry,
amount of time?
2018.
That's what I thought.
God of
To
War was
2023.
2016. Yeah. Yeah.
So
God of War was
about 5
2016.
years. And um, okay. Yeah.
I I think some of that is like recency bias and everything, like the sooner like a game comes out compared to like when the sequel or the next game of the franchise comes out, you are going to have more of a taste of it in your mouth,
Yeah.
compared to, let's say, Onimusha, that's going to be coming out with a sequel soon. I
Yeah.
think either just came out or about to come out. People are excited about it. It's a totally different thing. I don't remember the last time an Onimusha came out, you
Right.
know? So I feel like that has a lot to do with it. Um, I don't know. I just feel like it's a lazy comparison when people say it's more of the same. I
Yeah.
feel like that is a lazy way that reviewers, that people, when they don't know how to voice what they're feeling, it's just their way out of it.
Yeah. Well, to me, like, if you really loved game one and it's been, even just 3 years and you haven't played it, but you loved it, you enjoyed it, and you get more of the same in game two with some light, you know, iterations or innovations, shouldn't you love game two?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, oh man, all the flaws out of this amazing game that I loved have now been fixed, and I get a continuation of the story.
yeah. See, here's to me a really good example of that is, and you mentioned it earlier, Jedi Fallen Order to Jedi Survivor.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that was an example of a sequel done the right way. It was more of the same. You're a Jedi, you got a lightsaber, you're exploring these worlds, but they fixed a lot of things that I did not like in Fallen Order, most of which had to do with traversal.
Yes.
You
Oh
did
my
not
God.
the traverse. Sometimes you had to just walk all the way back through a level, through a world to get back to the beginning point, and there was nothing to do because you had killed everything along the way. It's like, what is going on here? So, yeah, it was just, but they fixed that. They fixed all those things in Survivor, and
Added
I
more.
and
Like,
added more.
yeah, the different lightsaber styles
Mhm.
was like
It was huge.
huge.
Yeah, it was great. So that, to me, that's a way to you've innovated, you've taken your audience's critiques into account and said, okay, we're going to fix some of these, we're going to address some of these things and fix them and make this sequel even better. And I hope they get a chance to make a third game because it feels like a trilogy. They
Yep.
set it up for the third game. And I thought even the twists I thought I was playing the end of the game, and it turns out it wasn't the end of the game.
Yep.
Like, there's this big epic set piece moment that it feels like the end of the game, and then it turns out that it's not. It's like, okay, all right, let's go. And there's a twist that some people see coming and some people don't, I guess. But it was good, is my point. And I enjoyed the fact that it wasn't like it was. I didn't feel like it was. I was playing a totally different genre of game. Like, I don't know how you even make a sequel without making it a different genre.
Yeah.
Entirely.
Well, and then people would complain about that. It's like,
They
oh
would.
my God, it's I love the way the first one played, but man, it kind of reminds me how books, like, you'll get into like a trilogy and the middle book usually sucks. On a lot of, like, the sophomore book is like, well, how do I bridge 1 to 3? Like, how do I fill in this middle part? But it like, okay, like, I want more of the good stuff, fix the bad stuff, and then give, like, Jedi Survivor is a great one where it's like, okay, you had more of a linear, there was some Metroidvania going around and
Sure.
that sort of deal. But in Survivor, it was like they really pulled back the camera and gave you big hub worlds
Yeah.
that if you wanted to go explore, they were like, go do it, have
And there
fun.
was stuff to find,
Yeah.
there was plenty to find. Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
it's
And you
like that.
didn't have to do it in a certain order. You had some freedom to tackle things in your own way, in your own timing. Yeah, it was very good. Very well done.
Yeah, and I don't know. Maybe I'm getting like defensive because Yote is about to come out, and I feel like that's what I'm going, because I'm already hearing people like, "Oh yeah, I'm not even really like thinking about Yote. It's just going to be more of the same." And I'm like, and they do have copies of the game that they're already playing and everything because they're reviewers, but I'm just like, like, this is hurting me because it's like I want the game to be really good.
Well, maybe it will be, and maybe your perspective on it will, help you enjoy it more than they have. Hopefully,
Let's hope so.
yeah. To me though, that's like, That's a weird kind of sequel because it's not the same character, it's not the same
True.
time period. You know, I guess it's a part of it's part of a franchise, but it's very disconnected
Hmm.
from the other game. So you know, we'll see. I'm definitely keeping my eye on that one because I loved Tsushima. Another great example of how to do a sequel that you brought up earlier is Arkham City.
Yeah.
Arkham Asylum to Arkham City. I mean, the difference there, the innovation between those two games, and again, how they addressed the complaints of the audience, or just looked at the first one and said, "How can we do this better?"
Hmm.
You know, that was huge.
Yeah. Yeah. And they didn't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
No,
They took, okay, we have an interesting glide mechanic. How can we put that plus the grappling hook and like be able to traverse this huge, city and everything? And then, oh, well, what did we suck at? And then like addressing those things going along and opening up more of the rogues gallery and
hmm
more hints of this, that, and the other. And dude, it was so good.
I mean, it was game of the year that year. There's a reason for that. It was so good,
And
and
then
that's
Arkham Knight.
and then
Like
Arkham Knight.
Arkham Knight was still good. I loved Arkham Knight, but
Yeah, the
it
story just wasn't as good as
yeah.
the first two. Um, and you know, some people didn't like the Batmobile. I thought the Batmobile was pretty fun. I did not like the Riddler challenges with the
Mm,
Batmobile. That's what I
yeah.
didn't like. If they
I
had left
just
that out, I think I would have enjoyed it a lot more.
I just didn't like the really like forced tank combat like
Oh yeah,
over and over again. Like it just
it was very samey, you know, over
yeah.
and over. Yeah,
But driving the Batmobile was awesome. Like I loved that. And
yeah,
like but the combat after a while was like, okay, this is, not as
yeah,
good as I was hoping and expecting for. But, some sequels you wait for and it pays off, that
yeah.
patience pays off and everything. And
It
then
sure
sometimes,
does.
sometimes it's really worth the wait.
Sometimes it really is, and I'm glad you brought up patience because I wanted to talk to you about patience tonight, Zach. Patience, you know, the old adage, patience is a
Virtue.
virtue. Yeah, you nailed it. You nailed it. Patience is a virtue. And I was thinking about patience, but mostly because of Silk Song, honestly. And the reason, you know, it took them again. I can't remember if it's 7 or 8 years that they spent building this game. And listen, anytime there was an Xbox event or a Nintendo event, what did you
Yep.
see in the chat, in the live chat,
Silk song,
over
silk
and over
song.
again? Like every third or fourth comment, it seemed like was Silk Song. Where's Silk Song? You know, everybody wanted to see it, and and then it just wouldn't be there. You know, it was like show after show after show for years that it
Hmm.
wasn't there, and people wanted it. But you know, those guys, they were just. It wasn't that there was problems or delays. They were just taking their time
Hmm.
to hone the game, to make sure that it worked, to make sure that it was as good as it could be before they put it out, before they put it out into the world. Um, and then when they did, guess what? Everybody's been talking about it for a month because everybody's enjoying it so much. And sure, it's not a game for everybody, but those that are playing it seem to really enjoy it. I haven't really heard very many negative things
Yeah.
about it, you know? And so patience is a virtue. And sometimes I, I I'm a very like self-reflective person, Zach. I don't know about you, but I ask myself a lot of questions about, well, why did I respond that way? Or what was I thinking when I did that? Or, you know, how could I have done that better? Um, and sometimes I'm not a very patient person. And I don't know about you, but I'm not. I'm not always a patient person. I try to be. In
Yeah.
fact, a pro tip from a recovering impatient person is sometimes I drive behind the slow car on the road instead of passing them just to practice patience.
Wow. Wow. Dedication right there.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I know. And the Bible has a lot to say about patience and just about waiting. And there's a lot of times where the Bible just says to wait for the Lord, and and then there's verses like James 5:7. I'm going to read here that says, "Be patient then, brothers and sisters, until the Lord's coming. See how the farmer waits for the land to yield its valuable crop, patiently waiting for the autumn and spring rains. You too be patient and stand firm." And uh, Romans 12:12, "Be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, faithful in prayer." Psalm 37:7, "Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for him. Do not fret when people succeed in their ways, when they carry out their wicked schemes." There's a lot of verses about patience. It's one of the fruits of the Spirit, the Bible says, and fruit doesn't grow overnight. It takes time, and so it's okay if you're not a patient person out there. You can become one. You can
Yeah.
it can be something that gets better. But I think a lot of the times that um, a lot of times when we are patient, and the reason that it is a virtue, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, Zach, is because when we practice patience, oftentimes we begin to see the flaws in the thing that we are working towards, or the thing that we are creating. So in the guys making Silk Song, if they had just been so excited about this project that they rushed it out the door, it probably would have been full of bugs.
Hmm.
It is full of bugs, but but the bad kind of bugs, and not the kind that you want. Yeah. um, so you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
because they were patient, they were able to see the cracks
Mhm.
in the character. They were able to see the flaws in the game and fix those things. And sometimes I think that God asks us to be patient, not because we're not ready, and he is helping us see the cracks, and he is fixing us so that when it's time for us to move forward, to step into that thing that we really want to do right now, um, we'll be ready for it. We'll be refined and able to handle what's ahead. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts, or maybe a story or something?
Yeah. A few thoughts off of what you're saying, because when you really get down to it, patience. I I know it sounds bad, but I kind of like the King James version, where it calls it long suffering. And it's just like, oh
That's
man,
how it feels.
that's how it feels, because you're like, oh, I don't want to have the fruit of the spirit of long suffering. But it's like, being patient, with a kid or whatever. It's like, if you are patient in that moment, just like God is patient with us,
Mhm,
like it shows care. And when they grow older, they've seen that they've been nurtured. And I think that's really important, because you were talking about fruit.
mhm.
If you've ever planted anything, you don't go out after an hour of the seed in the ground and dig it up and see if it's, grown any.
Ready to eat.
Yeah, it's like that's not how it works. It's not
Yeah.
fast food. It takes a while, and the same thing with anything that's dealing with us as a person. Like, you can't instantly make, like, you can make the decision to change, but
Yeah.
behavior is a language. It's like, you make that decision. It's like, okay, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. And then you have to be patient with yourself. You're not going to get it right 100 times out of, out of 100. And you were talking about like rushing something out.
Mhm.
There's so many times where I have been excited. I'm so excited. I got to get this piece of content out and everything. And then I put it out, and this literally happened like 2 weeks ago. I put out a video, And for some odd reason, the export was a minute long, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, and I put it and like hyped it up in like a stream. I was like, guys, putting out this video right after Nerd Cave News ends and send everybody over there. And then the countdown ran down. Minute I got into like the intro and then the content was supposed to start, cuts off. And I'm like, what in the world happened? And I looked and it was a minute long because I was impatient and I didn't check to make sure that it was actually the right thing. And it was the whole like 25-minute video or whatever. But it's like, how many times have I done that? So many times.
Yeah.
So many times. And one, I think this is a bigger one. And I've been really wanting to work with a certain group for a very long time. In any capacity, I've really, really wanted to work with them. And I met the group at VidCon back in 2015, 2016.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like so excited. And I literally, the CEO, I was like, when can I come work for you? And he was like, dude, I literally just met you. I don't know who you are. Like, he didn't say that. He's like, he just laughed. And he was like, we got to hire some, financial people and all of that kind of stuff before we, bring anybody else on. But from that point till now, I've been patiently training and getting better at editing and kind of honing skills throughout that whole time. And were there times where I'm like, man, I could just give up right now. I'm never going to work with them. And there's been times where I was just like, I don't think this is ever going to happen,
Yeah.
and I'd get kind of down on myself. And then last year I made a TikTok account that was just kind of like a fan account. And I saw that they weren't really posting like short form content. I just started editing like from their live streams or whatever. Just started editing, just banging out. I was like, I'm going to do a full month and I'm just going to crush it for a month. I'm going to do one video a day. And I did that whole month. And about halfway through it, like I was outperforming their views on TikTok with my content, like just from their stuff, which was like, I was like, all right, that's pretty dope. Like the same, But halfway through it, I got a message from one of the guys on the team. He was like, how are you doing what you're doing? And I was like, oh, well, I'm using X, Y, and Z. And, if you want to hop on a call, I can show you how I'm doing it,
Yeah.
And it was like, okay. Didn't even hop on a call or whatever. And I went for a little while longer, and yeah, I got a message back from him. It was like, hey, we would love to, bring you on as a freelancer or whatever, but we don't really have it in the budget right now.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. So I didn't, it kind of discouraged me. I'm gonna be honest. So I just stopped. I was just like, okay, I did my month and a little bit more. I was like, I proved to myself that I can make this and I can put it on the level where they're literally asking me how to do it.
Yeah.
And it was literally, I'm gonna look it up. My email. All right, my email. And sorry, July 31st. I got an email
of this year.
Of this year.
All right.
That they wanted me to edit freelance for them. And I remember the night that happened. We literally just moved into this place. It was like a fresh start. It was like, oh my God, I got this message. We're still like trying to like get everything from the old place. And me and Amy were so tired, and we were sitting at the table, and I like opened up. I was just like, I don't know, you know how it is. Like you're like looking at Slack or whatever, just as a twitch of like your finger, and you're on your whatever. Sure. And then I saw this channel, like the dude I was talking to, because when TikTok shut down, I sent him, I was like, hey, here's my email just in case. And then, Didn't hear anything. And then it was like, hey man, it's been a minute since we last chatted. Hope all is well. And then I've been editing for them for almost a month now, but it literally from 2015 to 2025,
Yeah,
I've been wanting and
that's a
chasing it
that's a decade.
a decade. And it's crazy. And it's like it's the start of something.
Yeah.
I want so much more out of the, relationship and everything, but 10 years is a long time for a lot of people. And there's times when I wanted to give up. But
Hmm.
patience and diligence paid off, and it's not an overnight success because man, when I first started editing, I sucked.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, so
Yeah.
that I just, God, I give God the praise for that one.
That's awesome. I love it. That's really cool. Oh man. Yeah. Well, that's I don't like I don't talk about my career on here because I'm trying to keep my
Yeah.
kids and stuff anonymous, right? But I have very similar stories in my career. I remember my first chance, my first shot at it, and man, it was really, really bad. It did not go well at all. And to it's the same kind of thing. It's just like you continue to trust God with it, and He continues to grow you and teach you, and you continue to get better, and eventually you are better, and you are ready for whatever the next step is. And even with YouTube, I mean, um, gosh, that's something that I had wanted to do for a long time, but was really scared to try.
Hmm.
Scared that I would find that it wasn't it wasn't worth my time, and time is precious, and I would be disappointed in how things turned out, and I would feel like a failure, if I tried it. And but what I didn't see until after I started was kind of like, you saying your first video that you ever edited wasn't any good, and now you're really great at it. And you are. The There was some other things in the background of my life where I was learning some skills that I needed to do this, and didn't necessarily realize it at the time. But and then there was just some other things that fell into place, and the Lord moved, um, and eventually I've always struggled with fear.
Mm.
It's been a really bad thing in my life. Just being afraid to fail in front of other people, and I think there's some childhood things that stems from that I've kind of deciphered over the years, but that's neither here nor there. The point is, uh, that over time, with patience, the Lord has slowly been pruning me and cutting out those parts of my life that don't need to be there, that aren't healthy, that are holding me back from doing what He wants me to do. And fear is one of those things. And was I don't know. YouTube has been an interesting journey in regards to that, and I'm to a place now where I'm definitely not huge, but the next episode of the Safe State will be a pre-recorded episode that I'm doing with a game developer about a game that they made, and that's like, oh, that's really cool. Like
Yeah.
I'm really excited about that. And a couple of years ago, I wouldn't have thought that I would be able to do that anyone would give me the time of day, and now it's like, no, hey, yeah, we'll send somebody to talk to you about this game. And it's a VR game. It's called Spatial Ops. It's really cool. Everybody should go check it out. I've played through it a few times. It's a really awesome game. Um, but uh, but yeah, it took time. It took patience to get there. So imagine Spatial Ops it has a single player and a multiplayer. Are you looking it up?
I am.
So the multiplayer, imagine playing like paintball in like a
Yeah.
big room with inflatables, the inflatable things you can stand
Yeah.
behind and play. But playing that
In
in
your
mixed
house.
reality in your house or in a gym or wherever, with other people with headsets on, and you can add bots into the level and they run around and try to take you down too.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's really
it
cool.
is pretty cool. And like you can throw a grenade and it will bounce off of things, like bounce off of
Like
the
a
state.
kitchen counter or something like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or the wall, the virtual walls that you put up, because you can create the stage.
Mm.
You can set it how you want. It'll bounce off of stuff and stuff like that. Like it's pretty cool.
I just saw he literally threw it like on the kitchen counter. It was like rolling and all. That is so super cool, man.
Yeah. 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 So I've got an interview coming up later this week with one of the game developers that made that game. So, and I'm really excited about it. Yeah.
That's
So
gonna be awesome.
don't be afraid to be patient. I don't think we can underestimate. We shouldn't underestimate, and I don't think we can overestimate what God can do with our patience when we trust Him. And I think it amplifies all other aspects of our life when we're patient and trust Him before we move forward, before we put that thing out there that we want to do. Be patient.
Amen.
It is a virtue. Yeah.
Long suffering.
Long suffering. Well, Zach, let's see. We talked about game of the year. We talked about why is it so hard to make a sequel. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about tonight? We talked about patience, long suffering.
No, I think I'm good on my end.
All right. Well, why don't you tell us where we can find you, man?
Well, you can find me at Nerd Cave Network on YouTube. That's where my content lives and resides. Each and every Tuesday and Thursday, we go live at 7 p.m. Central Time. Tuesdays, we play some games. Thursdays, we dive into all the video game news that you need to know from the week. Myself and my good friend Derek Daniel, we jump in and we literally dive into everything. We talk about the big stories of the week, and then it's a good time. We love getting to chat and answer questions and all of that. Also do a ton of anime content on the channel. So come support it, come be a part of it. It's a good old time at the Nerd Cave.
It is. I like watching you and Derek on Thursday nights because you're like I imagine like college roommates, but if they were like 85,
like the
just
two
picking at
old
each other. Yeah.
the two old Muppets.
Yeah. Sitting in the balcony. That's you and Derek. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really fun. It's really entertaining. Oh man. Yeah. And what are you playing tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night, play more Ghost of Tsushima. And what's cool about it is the chat actually decides how I play. So either main quest, side quest, or heals, no parry or blocking, like all of that kind of stuff. So it gets very challenging at times when you're in a main mission and it's like, oh, I can only use bows for 10 minutes.
Wow. Yeah. That's cool. That's a good idea. That does sound entertaining. Very cool.
It's a ton of fun, but it definitely is bit me in the butt a few times.
Oh man. Well, I need to add you into the description under here, which I forgot to do earlier. But I'm going to do it right now. You can find me. What should I say? Go watch Nerd.
You can put at
there you are.
Nerd Cave Network.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
You can find me right here on Bono's Gaming. That's pretty much it. I'm also over on X. I spend I usually post on X at least once a day. That's where I do most of my social media. I'm thinking, Zach, I've been thinking for a long time about branching out to maybe Instagram, maybe TikTok. It's just like so much time. and it
You
feels
should
like
use Threads.
a burden. Threads, really?
If it seems like you like the text side of things instead of like the photo video. If
Yeah.
if Twitter is your home, or X, whatever you want to call it.
Well, it is easier, and I like to repost and comment on some things. And what I found really great about it is that it gives me a way to actually talk to some of these game development companies and some of these hardware companies. I've actually had quite some really good interactions with some of them, and even some other YouTubers on there. So I've enjoyed it for that. But so yeah, you can find me over there. It's Bono's Gaming YT, I think, because Bono's Gaming was taken for some reason.
I took it.
Oh man, yeah. And I have a video. I put out a video last night about what is this? Substack has a great Christian community. There are a few other video game reviewers or writers there as well. I've never even heard of Substack. I'll have to check that out. Thanks, Sean. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm on Substack. I hardly ever post. It's like a blog kind of thing.
All right, that's cool. Yeah, I'll check that out. I put out a video about the iPhone 17 Pro because it has this new vapor chamber cooling system that's supposed to keep it cooler and dissipate the heat faster. And so I did a little test comparison between the 16 Pro and the 17 Pro with the round of Fortnite, and the results, Zach, shocked me. I was literally shocked at the difference between these two phones. And
you can only find those answers on your video.
It's only 4 minutes long. It's not even a long watch. So yeah, there you go.
Go give him more AdSense, everybody.
Yes, please. And I shot an update video on a handheld that I've been playing for the last few months. It's like the GBA SP that flips open. You know, it's not. I don't have it sitting here. It's not this. This is another one I'm working on, but it flips open like this. Okay, there were hinge problems with it. I have an update on those hinge problems in a video coming out probably this weekend.
Hingegate.
Yes. Everything has to have the word gate at the end of it nowadays.
Yeah, Watergate started it
all. Really started something there, didn't they? Oh man. But that about wraps it up for episode 43 of The Safe State. Hope you've enjoyed this episode. Thanks for joining us tonight, and thank you, Zach, for being with us tonight, man. It's been fun as always. But yeah, stay kind and encouraging out there, and we'll catch you on the flippity flip. See ya.